What's going on, you guys? It's your boy Patrick, aka Addicted to Combat, back for the recap reaction results for UFC 276, the big pay-per-view that wrapped up last night. Israel Adesanya defending his belt successfully, Alexander Volkanovski defending his belt successfully. Both guys making it look easy. A lot of fun action on the card from the prelims all the way up to the main card. Some unexpected results in some cases, but overall managed to make it out successfully betting-wise by the slightest of margins. 0.6 units of profit, 0.6 units of profit, just scraped by. I'll show you guys, exactly how I did it, go off of some of the best bets and props video results as well. And overall, you guys, I mean, I'm going to be going over, things based off of units in this. So for some of the new subscribers that just joined me this week, if you're watching, 1 unit for me is 1% of my betting bankroll. So you guys can scale it for your bankroll and do the math that way. 1 unit, 1%. Along those lines, up to 150 subscribers and climbing. A lot of that came in the past week. And for a small channel like mine, my full card breakdown for this event was, getting close to 2,000 views in just a matter of days during fight week. So I did not expect that type of, reaction to it. A lot of likes, a lot of good comments, and good discussion back and forth. So, go ahead and give me a follow on Twitter as well. And thank you to anybody who watched that video, liked it, shared it, retweeted it. Thank you guys so much. I'm glad that this channel is growing and that we're getting some good engagement. So moving on to some of the money lines that I had on this card. Overall, the card, I went 7-4 in picks, 7 correct, 4 wrong picks, and then the 1 Sean O'Malley, Pedro Munoz, no contest as well. So not too bad as far as the predictions go. And again, the profit was very slight because on the money lines that I bet this week, I bet 4 money lines that I went over in the best bets video. I went 2-2. So starting off with the one that I really don't want to discuss, but I have to, is Jessica Rose Clark losing to Julia Stoliarenko in round 1 by armbar. Once again, a woman's favorite is, really crap in the bed for us right in the first fight, right in the first minute. So just going over this one, I mean, I bet 1.4 units to win, 1 unit, the minus 140 money line, I paid the price on the women's favorite. I saw a disparity in skill on the feet. I saw a woman in Julia Stoliarenko who I was not that impressed with. Obviously, the great submission game, which is a weakness of Rose Clark, but, she never really displayed an ability to get that fight to the ground. Maybe one time she got 1 takedown, and then last night she was able to do the same thing, easily transition, a very quick, volatile start where, Rose Clark had some success, but quickly she was, taken to side control, quickly she was mounted, and quickly she was tapped out. So this is a bet where, say you were betting the women's underdog, a great strategy. I can't deny that at this point. But if you had money on Julia Stoliarenko and she did not get that submission, she lost. You would have felt really dumb having bet on a 0-4 fighter in the UFC. But I was on the flip side, so I bet Jessica Rose Clark. Now I feel like the idiot because, I bet on somebody who just lost by round 1 armbar and, just did it again. So no matter what, if you were on the losing side of this bet, you would have kind of felt like a moron. So it was probably supposed to be a pass spot, but I don't regret what I saw in the tape. I didn't really see an ability for the 0-4 Stoliarenko to get the fight to the ground, but hey, she did it. So what are you going to do? Lost that bet, round 1 sub. Rose Clark has now moved to like a list, like an actual hit list of fighters I just will not put money behind in the future. So hold me to that. Next up was Dricus du Plessis I had. He made it look very easy after the sloppy start in round 1. Minus 120 on the money line was a great price for this guy. I bet 1.2 units to win, 1 unit in return. So, like I said, sloppy round 1. His striking has a whole lot of holes in the defense, obviously, that the Brad Tavares, the veteran, was able to expose. But, man, who can fight through fatigue better than Dricus du Plessis? That guy is incredible. Just the way every time in between rounds, I was like, oh man, this guy is done. His output is going to fall off, but it never did. And he used his long measurables, his long lanky frame at 185 to really get the job done, pour the volume and damaging strikes on Brad Tavares, and pick up his first decision win. So let that be a lesson. If you've got a nice money line at minus 120, close to even money on a young prospect, even though he won all of his fights inside the distance, I wasn't going to bet that because I'm getting such a fair price on the money line, and what do you know? He gets his first decision win, so be careful with some of those props. So that was a unit 1 back. Next up was one of my more confident picks on the night. I really believed in Gabe Green as an underdog. he was all the way up at like plus 160, plus 165 at one point in the week before dropping back down. I put a unit on him at 135 and another unit on him at plus 140. So I lost 2 units on this because he got outclassed by Ian Gary. Ian Gary, obviously he was going to be the more fluid striker, the better counter striker, and it would be the perfect fight for Ian Gary if Gabe Green just did not manage to mount any grappling offense in this fight or getting close and get some counter strikes. Because then Ian Gary would just have the perfect scenario for him, right? He'd have a guy lumbering forward that's a lot shorter, a lot smaller, with less reach, and he'd be able to pick him off with those damaging counter strikes all day. That's exactly what happened because Gabe Green was actually not as strong as I thought he would be in the clinch against the cage. I thought Ian Gary would be ragdolled around once he got in close, once Gabe Green was able to rip him off the cage to the ground. And I even put a quarter of a unit on a plus 900 Gabe Green by submission prop. So, I mean, I will give Gabe Green credit. The times he did have him against the cage, got behind him, he actually was trying to climb the tree-like physique of Ian Gary and jump on and backpack him. So, that at least he was going for that plus 900 sub prop, but he was not tall enough or slick enough on his grappling to get that done. And Ian Gary showed me that he's deceivingly strong, even against the cage in the clinch. So, more power to him. He's a guy I'll probably look to fade at some point in the future. He's still, this is a big test for him, but he's still rather untested and a young guy. So I think as he climbs up this division, there will be some challenges. But I chose the wrong time to fade him. I was very confident in Gabe Green, but that's a minus 2 unit loss on Gabe Green. But then the night turned around with Jalen Turner, who I bet 2.5 units on to win. 2 units in return, minus 125 on the money line was a great price on him. I hammered that, for, like I said, 2.5 units, and he made easy work. I mean, he's definitely a bully at 155, 6'3". I mean, huge measurables over Brad Riddell. They looked almost in different weight classes, and he got a nice, easy sort of club and sub guillotine victory in less than a minute. So that was kind of revenge for that quick Jessica Rose Clark loss, and is how I felt. So overall on those 4 money lines, like I said, 2-2 on those bets, and it was overall minus 0.4 units on the money lines as a total. So then you add in the prop, which was Gabe Green by submission, 0.25 units. So now I'm at a minus 0.65 loss for all of those. I had one more prop, which was Sean O'Malley. I had 1.5 units on him at plus 150 and at plus 175 to win by decision, but that was a no contest, so the bet was actually a push. So that was great there. Sean O'Malley actually looked very tentative to throw. He was checking leg kicks, but otherwise he was even tentative in round 2 to throw. He had some good spinning attacks and whatnot, but we might have been saved, if you were on the Sean O'Malley side. We might have gotten saved there with that push, in all honesty. So there we are. What I did, though, is I did lie to myself because I said I was not going to do parlays this week, which I always do, and they recently have cost me money, but I did a small sprinkle, 1.5 units, on sort of like a, betting on greatness type of chalky parlay, which was 1.5 units on Sean O'Malley, Israel Adesanya, and Alexander Volkanovski. This was a last-minute decision on my part, right super late in the night on Friday night, which was, so I got the worst odds. I got minus 300 something for Sean O'Malley, minus 500 for Adesanya, and Volkanovski at minus 190. So it was supposed to be a 1.5 unit bet, and that 3-way parlay to win 2 units, but since the Sean O'Malley was a push, it went to just Adesanya, Volk. Both made their jobs look very easy. 1.5 units to win, 1.25 units, which then equated to that 0.6 units of profit. So, again, Sean O'Malley might have gotten saved there, might have not. I don't know if he would have picked it around if the momentum was turning in his favor. Adesanya, like I predicted, and a lot of people did, it was a boring 5-round decision where he just maintained distance well. Won the fight and kept it safe, didn't get knocked out, so good on him. Volkanovski was the real surprise because I thought that Volkanovski would win the fight. I picked him to win. I thought he would have to rely a lot on the wrestling and the grappling and control time to mix up, the effective striking and slow down Max Holloway. But Volkanovski was happy to strike at range and get the better of all the exchanges, all 5 rounds. So, I feel really bad for Max Holloway because I'm a huge Holloway fan, but I love the streak that Volkanovski's on, and not a whole lot of people at featherweight that can test him at this point. We got Arnold Allen in the wings, still, undefeated, but, still got a lot of work to do. You still got undefeated Bryce Mitchell in the wings. still has a lot of work to do before he gets up to that point where he can face the upper echelon of the featherweight division. But otherwise, they've all kind of beaten each other. So where Volkanovski goes from here, I don't really know. We might have to take a fight up a weight class and wait for some of these guys to catch up for either a rematch or some fresh blood at 145. But all right, you guys, again, thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the kind words in the videos, all of the great views that we got this week, all the engagement. Anybody who shared this or has been constantly, supporting the channel from day one. I didn't think it would really grow this far. I just started this channel just because I like mixed martial arts, wanted to share my betting journey, give some good advice, and to just talk shop with other knowledgeable people, which a lot of you guys are. So, again, thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, leave a subscribe. Let's keep this channel growing, and I will talk to you guys next time for Fiziev versus Dos Anjos. Cheers.